Come with me to watch this wannabe opposite of Rachel Dolezal, black girl trying to act white, in a movie called The Strays. Cheryl Blake, a black woman living in London, talks to her sister on the phone, ranting about how she was discriminated against at the housing office when she went there to ask for help with the rent. Unhappy and tired with how her life is turning out, despite being a successful saleswoman, she says she wants more. Her sister advises that she and her husband, Michael, should stop overspending as their problem is financial mismanagement. She hangs up, packs her things, and ignores Michael's calls. She leaves a note for him on the fridge, saying she's going to the hairdresser's, and leaves. Years later, formerly Cheryl Blake, now named Neve Williams, a light-skinned black woman who lives in an upper-class community, practices her white upper-class accent as she applies makeup that makes her more white and wears a wig to mask anything that makes her look black, as she hates being black. She checks on everything that's needed for the charity gala she's organizing on Friday in their backyard, making sure everything goes smoothly as such events carry weight in the community. She is married to a white man named Ian, and they have two biracial children, Sebastian and Mary. Cue the slam poetry of a quadroon.
Someone who is 3/4 massa and 1/4 coon. These are the confessions of a quadroon.
When Neve visits her daughter Mary at work, Neve notices her daughter's hair got a little flavor. This makes her weave itch because she's a self-hating black woman. While Neve meets with her friend Amanda for tea, a black young man is watching her a few tables away. Amanda notes that Neve is just like one of them, except Neve hasn't aged a bit. Black really don't crack, and Caucasians be aging. Later, as she's driving, Neve sees a random black man in her rearview mirror. Distracted, she crashes into the back of the car of her friend, Sonia, tearing off her entire bumper. At dinner, Neve tells Ian about the accident, and Ian, who works in insurance, tells her that he'll take care of it. Ian then tells her that he's hired a young black girl named Abigail as his assistant at his office, Brotherly Cover Insurance. That company name kinda sus. When Sebastian senses disapproval from Neve over hiring a black girl, he says they're black, to which Ian agrees. Before bedtime, they get a little spicy. Ian wants to touch Neve's hair, but she said no real quick. Afterwards, as Ian watches Neve carefully put down her wig, he tells her that she doesn't have to cover her hair and that he likes her natural hair. Neve goes to the kitchen to drink water, and she hears a noise from the outside. Upon checking, she finds an envelope containing a blue race car with a race car driver toy. NASCAR is a white man's sport, so she should be happy to see it. The next day, as Neve drives to Castlecombe Private School, where she works as deputy headmistress and theology course leader, and where Sebastian and Mary attend, she finds her side mirror vandalized with a stickman and stickwoman drawn in black ink. She asks Sebastian, who's in the back seat with Mary, if he's been drawing on the mirrors, to which he denies. When they arrive at Castlecombe, she wipes the drawings off the mirror. In a meeting, the school's heads celebrate as Castlecombe outperformed other private schools across the country. Neve is also praised and congratulated for having the most A-stars in the senior year for the 5th year in a row. Later, when she sees Sebastian talking to a black man, who is the school's janitor, she calls Sebastian and tells him to be in class instead of talking to strangers. As Neve oversees the practice of the school's signing choir, she sees Sebastian going to the woods. She follows him and catches him smoking alone. She asks him who is with him, accusing someone of influencing him, and when Sebastian asks who she's talking about, she threatens him with suspension. Driving home, her stress makes her wig itch. Neve asks Mary where Sebastian is, and Mary tells her that it's Tuesday, so Sebastian is out playing basketball. Neve drives by a young black girl who is staring at her. Distracted, Neve almost hits another car. She then drops Mary off at her friend Emily's house. At home, while Neve and Ian host Amanda and her husband Barry, Neve sees a black man outside. She panics when he walks towards the house, but the other three don't see him. They hear the door open, but it's just Mary, who's now sporting cornrows. When Neve asks her who did her hair, she says Emily did. Barry says Mary's hair is very ethnic. Oh, Barry, that's not in the sense that. Hours later, Neve is growing paranoid because Sebastian hasn't come home yet, and his teammate says he didn't join the team when they went to celebrate their win. She tells Ian that someone is out to bring violence against them, prompting a confused Ian to ask who she's referring to. When Sebastian finally arrives home, Ian reprimands him, but Neve, bursting in anger, repeatedly hits him, prompting Ian to intervene. Later in her dream, Neve sees a little girl celebrating her birthday. Her wig starts to go crazy, tangling itself on her hands. At Castlecombe, Neve reports the janitor for giving Sebastian cigarettes, but since she didn't see him do it, He only gets a formal warning as the school might look racist. Later, when Neve sees Sebastian run out of the men's restroom during a drill, she enters that restroom and finds the janitor, Carl, who confronts her for trying to get him fired and wanting him gone. When he says she erased him and Dione and tells her that they thought she was dead, she tells him, "It's not me, I'm not her," and runs away. At the charity gala, Neve sees Carl and Dione quietly attending at the back. Neve angrily confronts them, prompting Ian and Sebastian to intervene, telling her to stop. She continues to berate them and only stops when Carl and Dione address her as mother, shocking everyone. 5 days earlier, Carl and Dione checked into a hotel telling the concierge they were planning to stay for a week. While looking at the Williamses' photo, Carl tells Dione, "That's our family." Carl followed Neve at her tea with Amanda and got a job at Castle Combe as the school janitor, using the name Marvin. Meanwhile, Dione got a job as Ian's assistant at Brotherly Cover Insurance, using the name Abigail. During her interview, Ian told Dione that she reminds him of Neve. Ian, that would be considered racist, but they are related, so we will let it pass. Dione then befriended Mary, introducing herself as Ian's assistant and connecting with her on social media. Carl got the Williamses' address and cried as he went through the Blakes' photo album. Meanwhile, Dione and Mary stalked each other's social media accounts. When Neve saw Sebastian talking to Carl at school, Carl was befriending Sebastian after a schoolmate bullied Sebastian. Carl later met with Sebastian in the woods, where he told him that he shouldn't let people bully him and taught him how to smoke. When he heard Neve coming, Carl hid, leaving Sebastian to face her. When Neve dropped Mary at Emily's, Mary went to Carl and Dione's hotel room with Dione, who was waiting for her. There, Dione did her cornrows and they partied. Mary invited Dione to the gala, prompting Dione to suddenly have an attitude shift, acting jealous of how Mary is the favorite and telling her she can't wait until everything comes out. Confused, Mary asked if she was okay, and Dione excused herself to the bathroom. Meanwhile, Carl and Sebastian smoke weed on a rooftop after Sebastian's basketball game. After Sebastian shared that Neve thinks she's white and despises being black, which appalled Carl, Carl made Sebastian lean over the edge and scares him a little, pretending to want to push him off the roof. Carl attacks Sebastian's bully, and Sebastian helps. When Carl returned to their hotel room, he found their room messy. A disheartened Dione told him she brought Mary there, bitter about Mary having everything. He reprimanded her because it wasn't part of their plan, but Dione told him she's done pretending. As it was clear to them that they were not wanted, Carl proposed leaving, but Dione informed him that Mary invited her to Neve's gala. Excited and happy as she never got to go to prom, Dione wore a yellow dress and a tiara to the gala. In the present day, Carl pulls back Dione, who's throwing a fit because her prom is ruined. After the gala, Neve confirms to Ian, Sebastian, and Mary that Carl and Dione are indeed her children, and admits never recognizing them because she left them 16 or 17 years ago. She explains that Michael was a bad man, so she left him and Carl and Dione grew up with him. Neve tells Ian that he won't be up for raising two black children who aren't his anyway, to which Ian says he could have, but she never asked. Believing the two worlds don't mix, Neve says she did what she had to do and what fathers do all the time. Neve meets Carl and Dione at a diner, where Dione asks if she hates being black. Neve claims to be a proud black woman and apologizes for her outburst at the gala. Proud? Really? Nobody believes that. When she explains that she left because Michael was a dangerous man, Carl tells her that she wasn't perfect either. When Dione asks why she didn't take them with her, Neve says she gave them to their aunt, prompting Carl to reveal that their aunt gave them away as she didn't want them. Dione enthusiastically asks if they're going to move into their big house, but Neve gently rejects the idea by giving them 2 checks of £10,000 each to help them get back on their feet when they return to London until they work it all out. An emotional Carl thanks Neve and Dione reaches out to hold Neve's hand. At home, Neve informs her family that Carl and Dione are just curious about her, and they've decided to go back to London. She adds that they'll reunite when they all heal. The Williamses then hug each other, reconciling after all the secrets. While they're asleep, Carl and Dione break into their residence. Dione, who's wearing a party hat, makes toast in the kitchen and then fills the bathtub. Meanwhile, Carl collects the Williamses' phones and dumps them in the sink, which overflows after he leaves the water running. Sebastian awakens and Dione casually says hi to him as she's on her way to tell Carl that she wants to bathe. Neve asks Sebastian why he's going to bathe so late, and he informs her that her 2 children are downstairs. When Neve and Sebastian go down, Carl tells them that it's Dione's birthday and they thought they should celebrate together as a family and order Chinese food. Ian and Mary come down too, and Dione tells them it's her birthday. Neve tries to gently talk to them, but Carl orders Mary to get the phone so they can order. Neve attempts to run away, but Carl gets hold of her and tells her to calm down, warning her that things can get ugly if she doesn't. Ian tells them that he's totally unaware of Neve's past, but Dione corrects him that her name is Cheryl, which is another shocking revelation for the Williamses, as they didn't know that she has another name. Neve says it's a terrible mix-up. When Dione suggests having a family photo and wants to be in the middle, Carl tells her they will do it after they get their order in. Since the restaurant they're calling is closed, Carl orders Mary to find Chinese food from Uber Eats instead. Ian tries to gently talk Carl out of terrorizing them, but Carl hits him, causing Ian's nose to bleed. Carl then forces them to sing Happy Birthday to Dione. After Carl orders Sebastian and Dione to get a board game and orders Neve to set the table, Carl asks Ian who wrote the check. When Carl, Ian, and Mary confront Neve for trying to pay the pair off, Neve says she's just trying to help and could have given more. Neve vomits, and then she suddenly shows a welcoming and happy persona, accepting Carl and Dione to the family. When Neve calls on Ian so they can start playing Scrabble, Ian tells her that he wants a divorce. Sebastian tells Ian to stop and teams up with Carl for the game, while Mary says she'll team up with Dione to not worsen the situation. Neve ends up teaming up with Ian. During Carl and Sebastian's turn, Carl gets annoyed and throws the game, saying he's bored. He then demands that Ian accompany him to their home gym. Uber Eats arrive, and Neve, who gets the door, tells the delivery man that she'll go get him a tip for being so accommodating. After she checks on Ian, who's loudly grunting as Carl forces him to lift increasingly heavy weights, she goes upstairs to get her purse. Shortly after, Ian is no longer able to hold up the weights, causing the weights to fall on him, resulting in his death. Mary and Sebastian control their emotions after hearing Ian get crushed. When Neve returns with her purse, she apologizes to Sebastian, Mary, and Dione for how everything turned out, and she hopes they can forgive her. She says she'll go tip the delivery man, then they'll go eat and discuss. Shortly after Carl rejoins the others at the table, they hear the delivery man's motorcycle starting and driving away. Neve has left with the delivery man, abandoning all 4 of her children. This white beach really gonna restart this scam all over again? What did you guys think of this movie? I didn't like how they made Carl and Dione evil, thus reinforcing stereotypes of black people.
Subscribe to watch more videos like this. Turn on notifications. And leave a like, it really helps the channel out. Thank you for watching.